Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Isma, and we shall be moving on to the control of renal calcium excretion, part 1. The total calcium in the plasma is 5 milliequivalents per liter. Out of that, 50% is in the ionized form, which is 2.4 milliequivalents per liter, and this is the form that has biological activity at the cell membranes, while 40% is bound to plasma proteins and only 10% is complexed in non-ionized form with anions like phosphate and citrate. When calcium concentration falls to low levels in the ECF, this is known as hypocalcemia, and this leads to excitability of the nerves and the muscle cells, and in extreme cases it can lead to hypocalcemic tetany, and this is characterized by spastic skeletal muscle contraction. Whenever ECF calcium level increases, it depresses neuromuscular excitability and it can lead to cardiac arrhythmias. When there are changes in the plasma hydrogen ion concentration, it can affect the degree of calcium binding to the plasma proteins. The mechanism is that albumin has got binding sites for calcium ion as well as hydrogen ions. Whenever the hydrogen ion level falls, as in case of alkalosis, the hydrogen ions dissociate and calcium ion take their place, and this leads to a decrease in the free ionized ECF calcium, which is known as hypocalcemia. In case of acidosis, the compensatory mechanism to correct acidosis is to bind more hydrogen ions with the plasma proteins, and calcium ions are removed from the plasma proteins and their level increases in the free ionized form, and this leads to hypercalcemia. The usual rate of dietary calcium intake is about 1000 milligrams per day, and about 900 milligrams per day of calcium is excreted in the feces. Therefore, the GIT regulatory mechanisms that influence the intestinal calcium absorption and secretion play a major role in the calcium homeostasis. 99% of the calcium in the body is stored in bones. 1% is present in intracellular fluids, and only 0.1% is present in the extracellular fluids. The most important regulator of bone uptake and release of calcium is parathyroid hormone. Whenever the extracellular fluid calcium level falls below normal, the parathyroid glands are directly stimulated by this low calcium level and promote increased secretion of parathyroid hormone. This parathyroid hormone then acts directly on the bones to increase the resorption of bone salts, meaning calcium is released from the bones. It also causes vitamin D3 activation, which leads to intestinal calcium absorption and also stimulates renal calcium reabsorption. Therefore, the day-to-day regulation of calcium ion concentration is mediated mainly by the effect of PTH on bone resorption. However, the bones do not have an inexhaustible supply of calcium, so over long term, the intake of calcium must be balanced with the calcium excretion by the GIT and the kidneys. And the most important regulator of calcium resorption at both these sites, that is kidney and GIT, is parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone regulates the calcium concentration by three main effects. Number 1, by stimulating bone resorption. Number 2, by activation of vitamin D, which in turn leads to increased intestinal resorption of calcium. And number 3, by directly increasing renal tubular calcium reabsorption.